Well, friends, it's a beautiful day at the ballpark and not a cloud in sight here as Paper Ceilings rolls into town to open up a 3-game set. We'd like to remind you that this broadcast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Paper Ceilings National League Baseball Club Incorporated solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or other use of the accounts and descriptions of this game without express written consent from the Paper Ceilings National League Baseball Club Incorporated is strongly encouraged. And of course, no matter where you are in our listening area, your front row seat at today's ball game is brought to you by our good friends at Etzel Mist's Beer and Chimney Cricket Cigarettes, the smokiest smoke you'll ever smoke. It looks like Phenomenal Smith has finished his warm-up tosses and is ready to go. Winds and fires, and the first pitch of the ball game is a fastball called strike on the outside corner.
Phenomenal Smith thought himself to be an ace. He said, even if I had no fielders, I would still win every game. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. So behind his back, his teammates held a meeting. They said, we've had enough of this. Tomorrow he'll take a beating. Oh, 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 oh. And so the Brooklyn Grays made 14 errors the next day, and Phenomenal Smith lost the game in a phenomenal way. Oh, 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 oh. Some fines were handed down to make things look alright, but Brooklyn released Phenomenal Smith in the middle of his prime. Oh, 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 oh. Phenomenal Smith thought himself to be an ace. If your name was Phenomenal, I guess you'd probably think the same. Oh, 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 oh. Michael Jordan got tired of being a star. Caught a flight to Sarasota to try something bizarre. Traded in his Nike sneakers for a glove and a bat. Hit the cages every day, and soon he found himself in a Barons cap. He went straight down to Birmingham to play right field every night. Got off to a rocky start, but soon his swing started to feel alright. Oh, MJ, a Chicago Bull in Double-A. MJ, riding the bus just for a chance to play. MJ, gonna make it to the major leagues one day. MJ. Sold out crowds in every single town. From Knoxville to Orlando, the Southern League was turned upside down. He only batted .202, just beat out Mendoza, but he added 50 points to that when he played fall ball in Arizona. But then there came the players' strike, spring training of '95. Didn't want to be a replacement player, so he headed back to the United Center. MJ, a Chicago Bull in Double-A. MJ, riding the bus just for a chance to play. MJ, gonna make it to the major leagues one day. MJ. Michael Jordan got tired of being a star. Caught a flight to Sarasota to try something bizarre. Eddie's Dodger teammates made fun of him. He wore Coke bottle glasses and he played the violin. Leo DeRocher thought that it was all a ruse. Said, bring your violin tomorrow, I want to hear some tunes. Eddie made him a wager, said, I can really play, you know. I bet you $1,000 that you'll enjoy the show. And Leo thought it over, said, you've got yourself a deal. Sweeter sounds were rarely heard in the confines of Ebbets Field. He played a waltz by Strauss among some other songs. Leo emptied his wallet and reluctantly admitted he was wrong. Well, he really dug Berlin and all of Tin Pan Alley, but he didn't last in Brooklyn under Walter O'Malley. Yeah, he really dug Berlin and all of Tin Pan Alley, but he didn't last in Brooklyn under Walter O'Malley. So he joined the PCL, and there he fit right in. On Sunday doubleheaders, he'd still play that violin. Sometimes he'd hit a homer, sometimes he would strike out, but he always played the violin, and he always went all out. Eddie Basinski loved to play the fiddle, and he loved to turn the double play on a hard hit grounder up the middle.
Round ball, 6-4 to 3, and that's the final out here in the bottom of the third. After 3 innings of play, this ball game is still scoreless. Now, while the field changes hands, let's listen in to a word from the fine folks at Edsel Mists Beer. You provide the pretzel twists, and we'll provide the Edsel Mists.
Does today's beer taste witless? Are ales always leaving you pale? Try Edsel Mists Beer, brewed exclusively from the mists that emanate from the cold water springs at the base of the mysterious and secluded Edsel Falls. Get lost in the mist of Edsel Mists Beer, just like pretzel with no PR.
Satchel Paige, the greatest of all time. The infielders are sitting down 'cause they know he'll strike out the side. He can paint the corner and he can make you chase. And once you've timed his fastball, well, he'll just hesitate. Strike one, strike two, strike three, mowing them all down. Strike one, strike two, strike three, barnstorming through your town. Satchel Paige, the greatest of all time. Even at age 42, he's gonna go all 9. He can throw a screwball, and he can throw an ephus. When Satchel Paige is on the hill, no one can ever beat us. Strike one, strike two, strike three, mowing them all down. Strike one, strike two, strike three, barnstorming through your town. Satchel Paige, the greatest of all time. The infielders are all sitting down 'cause they know he'll strike out the side. Strike one, strike two, strike three, mowing them all down. Strike one, strike two, strike three, barnstorming through your town. Rick Ankiel had it all. 95 on the black, cut and miss on the breaking ball. Rick Ankiel had it all. Rick Ankiel, he would fall. Rick Ankiel forgot how to throw a strike, couldn't find the plate, no matter how hard he tried. Matheny wasn't there to catch 'cause he sliced his hand with a hunting knife. And Duncan did his best, of course, but he too was stupefied. Rick Ankiel had it all. Rick Ankiel went back to rookie ball. on the mound. He was still wild, but when he swung the bat, sometimes the baseball went a mile. Rick Ankiel began to reconsider, maybe I'm not a pitcher, maybe I am a hitter. And later on in Memphis, they could not get him out when he swung the bat and made this terrifying sound. Everyone took notice and word got around. Front page of the papers, guess who's back in town? Rick Ankiel stepped to the plate in the bottom of the 7th with 2 away. Albert loomed on deck, so he knew he'd see a strike. Rick Ankiel sent that ball into the night. Rick Ankiel had it all, a hanger at the belt, and it barely cleared the wall. Rick Ankiel had it all. Rick Ankiel took a curtain call. Poor old Charlie Root, remembered for one lone pitch to Babe Ruth. Poor old Charlie Root, served up a homer in 32. Babe pointed to center, or so the tale goes. What really happened, nobody quite knows. He smashed the curve over the wall, but was the shot really called? Poor old Charlie Root, remembered for one lone pitch to Babe Ruth. Poor old Charlie Root, served up a homer in 32. And it haunted poor Charlie all the way to his grave. When no one believes you, well, what can you say? Oh, deep in my heart, I know what is true, said poor old Charlie Root. Poor old Charlie Root, remembered for one lone pitch to Babe Ruth. Poor old Charlie Root, served up a homer in 32. He won 200 in his long career, pitched for the Cubbies for 16 good years. He'd be a hero in most other stories, but Charlie Root was deprived of his glory. Give your life to a game, and what do you get? Remembered for something that never happened. Give your life to a game, and what do you get? Remembered for one single pitch. Poor old Charlie Root, served up a homer in 32.
The 3-2 pitch is a curveball, swung on and missed, and Charlie Root retires the side in order. Middle of the 7th inning, you know what that means. It's time to stretch, and of course it's also time to light up a Chimney Cricket cigarette, the smokiest smoke you'll ever smoke.
Do you crave smoke?
Yes.
What kind of smoke do you crave?
Smoky smoke.
How smoky do you like your smoke?
Only the smokiest.
Well, there you have it, friends. If you crave only the smokiest of smokes, it's time you lit a Chimney Cricket cigarette.
Oh, Chimney Cricket! For the smokiest smoke you'll ever smoke.
The Chimney Cricket cigarettes.
here's an apartment and a brand new car. I know you about 135, but to me you're still a star. Heard it on the radio and I called in right away. Got my season tickets, now it's almost opening day. Here in Seattle, we're just happy to have a team. This summer at the ballpark is like some kind of dream. And I know we'll probably lose 100 games, but Ray Oyler in Seattle, everybody chants your name. Hey Ray Oyler, here's an apartment and a brand new car. I know you about 135, but to me you're still a star. And Ray Oyler, I know that it can be tough. Just wait for a fastball and lay off the breaking stuff. And every time you dig in, well, I'll still stand and clap. But I wonder if you've considered maybe trying a different bat. Here in Seattle, we're just happy to have a team. Every day at the ballpark is like some kind of dream. And in the end, we lost close to 100 games. But Ray Oyler in Seattle, everybody chants your name. Seattle, we don't even have a team. That summer at the ballpark was just some kind of dream. And yeah, I guess it's true that nothing gold can stay, 'cause Ray Oyler went to Oakland and the Pilots flew away. Name was John Franklin, home run baker around the turn of the century. He was quite the player, the original home run king in all of the majors. Not even Walter Johnson wanted to face home run Baker, but home run Baker didn't hit too many homers. Though I don't mean to say that this was any kind of misnomer. 'Cause in the dead ball era, 12 long balls was quite a lot. Home run Baker and the A's couldn't be stopped. The Philadelphia infield cost $100,000. Some say that infield was the best that there ever was. 4 pennants in 5 years for home run Baker, but the A's sold him to the Yanks, said Baker, see you later. Oh, home run Baker didn't hit too many homers, though I don't mean to say that this was any kind of misnomer. 'Cause in the dead ball era, 12 long balls was quite a few. Couldn't wait to get to the Bronx to see what he could do. But in New York, Baker felt so out of place. What's with this rabbit ball, he asked, this is a different game. Murderer's Row, just 5 or so years away. Pretty soon, nobody even knew his name, 'cause home run Baker didn't hit too many homers. Though I don't mean to say that this was any kind of misnomer. 'Cause in the dead ball era, 12 long balls was pretty fine, but not even home run Baker could turn back time. When I was 6 years old, Royce Clayton, you were my favorite. An everyday shortstop, and then you got traded. When I was 6 years old, Royce Clayton, you were my favorite. All the way down to Texas, you got traded. And I remember hearing the news, couldn't believe it was true. I remember hearing the news, Walt Jocketty, what did you do? And 17 years later it still stings a little bit. Everything is sacred when you're just a little kid. Baseball's not a business, not a game, it's more than that. It's hot dogs and rookie cards in the bill of Royce Clayton's cap. And 17 years later it still stings a little bit. Everything is sacred when you're just a little kid. Baseball's not a business, not a game, it's more than that. It's extra innings in the upper deck in the crack of Royce Clayton's bat. And I remember hearing the news, couldn't believe it was true. I remember hearing the news, Walt Jocketty, what did you do?
Two hopper to short, Clayton is up with it, and he fires it over to first to record the final out. This one is in the books. Paper Ceilings takes it by a score of 5-2. Remember to tune in tomorrow for the second game of the series, 12:35 p.m. airtime. On behalf of Paper Ceilings, Etzel Mist's Beer, Jiminy Cricket Cigarettes, and the entire Vocorama Radio Network, I'm Googs Googsy signing off and wishing you all a very pleasant good evening from Burke Municipal Grounds.